Should we start? Okay, good. Hello everyone, I'm Prasad Kurche, the host for Parallel Perspective. Today we have our honorary guest, Mr. Sankalp Chandelkar. He is the founder, director and the CMO for a company called CXOLEAD. Hello sir.
Hello.
How are you?
Absolutely fine, Prasad. Excited to be here.
Yes. So, as we always say that in Parallel Perspectives, we are coming across all the innovators and people who are doing something extraordinary. And when we came across your profile, we also saw that you are working in some different manner and you are also doing coaching, mentoring, and your company helps a lot to other organizations also. So, at first, I'd just like to know, what is CXO?
See, it's a new term which is evolving all across the world.
Okay.
So, many people know CEO, many people know COO, Chief Operations Officer, Chief Executive Officer.
Right.
So, many people refer to it as CEO normally. But CXO is any Chief Officer, which is normally been understood in a corporate parlance, to be very quoted unquoted terms. So, CXO is being looked at from a perspective that it is only a top position. But any leader can be a CXO, any founder can be a CXO.
Okay.
That matter had changed. Initially we were looking outside, but now it is being looked inside, within ourselves. So CXO is something where X changes and chief officer remains same. So X can be executive level, X can be operations level, X can be finance level, X can be strategic level, X can be technology level, anything which comes from the perspective and affects the business, which cures your solution orientation for a particular business, that becomes a X factor. So that X factor makes an X factor for business growth.
Okay.
So that's what is a CXO.
Okay.
Is in terms of CXO as a
but
name.
Then, right to start it, what was the first primary goal when you started this, and how did you frame this? Because when I say CEO, when I say CFO,
Yes.
or COO, the traits, the competition, the skills, the skill sets and the mindset are all different for all these three different positions.
Yeah.
So how did you start with this?
Nice question, because you are coming to the genesis of why I started this. And genesis is something which I need to elaborate upon in a very root level way. See, what happens is my journey goes right from 2006 onwards when I started the career itself. So I was always skewed towards leadership as a position. I was more keen towards understanding how leadership functions, what are the roles in leadership, why leadership is so important. So most of the recruitment which is happening is looking at the perspective of people from outside, not people from inside. So there was a conditioning that many people told me, you look at Kautilya Arthashastra as a perspective. So there was no person or no teacher available for me in 2006 or 2008 level when I was looking for answers for such questions. And CXO was a term at that point of time was very new in terms of Western economics. Right? So the question came to my mind that why this becomes an important aspect for leadership to cure for. So when I am Ahmedabad and IIMs of all across the worlds are there, or the management institutions are there, why would leadership become so important position even after studying so much? But the question is, we are looking at business management, not a leadership perspective. So that is one area where I was in search of a leader or a teacher who can guide me through Kautilya's Arthashastra. Why Kautilya's Arthashastra? Is because it's a perspective, it is a total leadership book. Which is 6,000 sutras, there are 180 sections, there is no section in that which is not being covered.
Mm.
Right from your inner engineering to the outer perspective, to your warfare, to management of finances, to economics, to judiciary, to everything. So there is no topic on this, right from gemology, Ayurveda, what needs to be done by a king, how it should be a leader's timetable, everything is covered. So this perspective became very clear to me that yes, I need to focus on this, I need to get more deeply into this. And then the journey started, and finally we launched this as a CXOLEAD, as a leadership model. That yes, we need to transform leaders from inside outside and inside out, where people will definitely become more oriented towards not only for profits but purpose.
Okay. When you say inside, I mean inside whom? Inside the organization, you find out the existing people. Let's say I'm running an organization. I already have a team member working with me from last 15 years. I know some of them have potential, but I do not know how to, amplify the potential.
Correct.
So this is wherein you come in.
Yeah. No, I will just correct two things. You said inside organization. Inside organization is the role of organizations to nurture leaders. Our role comes as a perspective that lot of companies, they start very well, come at a stage where they become stagnant. How to scale, how to grow, they don't know.
Yes.
Or they don't know what is to be done for further growth. That is one perspective which is there in the mindset of any particular founder or a proprietor or a company which is growing at a 5 crore or 10 crore plus turnover. So such type of companies we take over and we say that okay, this is the plan you have. Why you need this type of leaders? Why you need CXOs? Because those are the leaders which will give you transformation, not only on the business perspective, but also on the personal level. Because many of the founders do not have a leadership as a model.
But these CXOs are the people from the existing cycle, or
no, they are not from the existing cycle. They are from the organization which they have worked with Tatas, they have worked with McKinsey.
So they already have the skill sets and the exposures,
required, yes.
And they can come in and they can take the organization to the next level.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
What are the common misconceptions about a CXO?
See, most of the people, they understand that CXO as a model or a CEO as a model or any CXO for that matter, he wants to be committed to the organization. That is what people feel. Lack of commitment. If he goes somewhere else and devotes more time. But my question is, first of all, when you don't understand, when you have not understood the leadership, let us understand the leadership first and then gets into a CXO model. Purposely in our name, when we say CXOLEAD, we have omitted two different things. E and R is omitted. Why? Because E means energy and R means rhythm. Energy of yourself, energy of nature, rhythm of yours, rhythm of nature. So if you understand this tuning, what to act, what not to act, what to do, what not to do, then tuning of leaders will tune yourself to the CXO thing which is required, which is your purpose. So that's what we come in, that's what these leaders are for. Correct. They are not only for profits and give you the ratios of P by E. Right? So these are the leaders which are there for further more impact. For example, you take example of Mahindras, you take example of Tatas, you take example of Reliance, you take example of n number of companies across the world, Apples, Amazons, Googles. They have made impact. How they make impact? There is a purpose, certain purpose behind the founder. That purpose is larger purpose, that not a smaller purpose. It's leadership. Where it comes from where? It comes from a leader.
From leader, right.
So that inner engineering, which is there as an energy and rhythm, because we are finally, leader is who? He is a human being made up of 5 elements of nature. So that 5 elements vibrate at a particular frequency, right? Those frequencies needs to be matched with nature's frequencies. That's leadership. Because nature also, because human brain is only 1.5 kg. You cannot do anything without intelligence or divine intelligence, help of divine intelligence. So both these things merge together to produce something which is called as human aspect or human thought or human process or human output.
So, as an entrepreneur, one of the biggest challenges that even I see is you have your personal aim and a company's aim, which may be aligned. And you know definitely that if you grow, your colleagues, your people who are working with you, they will also grow. And when you say inner alignment and the rhythm, I guess the biggest challenge for a leader is to transfer that vision.
Correct.
And even if a single person, and you gave a very good example, Tata's, then the Reliance Group, and the Billas. People from top till the, I may not say till the bottommost level, because the amount of vision that is transferred is also need to be known. That transfer of vision and then vibrating in the same sense.
Correct.
And that seems to be the biggest challenge for any leader.
Correct.
A very layman, or I can say very ground to earth example I will tell you is, recently Rohit Sharma, he won the World Cup.
Correct.
His aspiration was very common with all these players.
Yeah.
But to vibrate in the same frequency, because if you analyze each and every match, you will see that all the team members, they perform, and then you got the end result.
Correct. Agree.
And that is what I see as a layman.
Correct.
I mean, you can explore more on that.
Yeah.
And I feel this is the challenge and the point wherein I guess this podcast will be really helpful for people who think framing a question, or what you said is purpose. Many a times it happens that a person has started a business only for a namesake. Many a times, even after starting, like they started with a bang, they had a purpose. Somewhere down the line with commercialization, you forget the purpose. And scaling it up becomes a problem.
Absolutely.
I guess I really appreciate on your thought on this, that aligning to the goals is what really matters, and then the purpose. Really nice, really nice. Now coming back to the second point is that with 25 years of experience, I guess this must be one of the challenges with the people whom you are working with. Even though you have CXOLEAD put it, but then what are the other challenges that you have seen?
See, all sectors of business has their own unique challenges. For example, if you are going in a matter of tourism, because Goa, since we are sitting in Goa, let's take example of tourism, which is very near and dear economy for Goa as a state. There are regulatory approvals which are needed. So CXO will have his own set of agendas, that whether I should go for a regulatory approval for a 500 bed hotel project or not, or should I convert into 7-star or 5-star or 11-star, whether it will fetch me returns or not. All these things happens, but before doing a project, do we really go in great detail? We don't go in great detail. We'll say that okay, hotel में project बहुत अच्छा बन रहा है, अच्छा करते हैं, चलो वो करते हैं.
बराबर.
But does that planning go that way?
No. I'll say, 90% of the time, you have taken example of hospitality, and hospitality is the worst in terms of starting up a business.
Exactly.
If you don't
that is what looks as a prima facie understanding. But see, in Kautilya's Arthashastra, there is a model called as Saptanga, which is a total development model. So we understand there is 7 systems which are being understood, which is being normally talked about but not understood in the great depth. Let me come to one perspective first. As a leader, what is it as a leader? You are a thinker. You are not an executor.
Right.
You are a thinker. So leader's job is to think. And when you are thinking from a particular perspective.
Correct.
So each industry, maybe technology has a different perspective, healthcare has a different perspective, tourism and development is a different perspective, plus media entertainment has a different perspective. Everybody is having its own peculiarity, challenges, solutions, everything.
Right.
But as a leader, you are a thinker. So in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, first sentence of Yoga Sutras in Patanjali is Chittaha Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So what you are doing is basically, yoga means not about asanas.
Right.
Which is being normally
understood that we are doing some set of exercise.
Correct.
Yes.
Yoga means thinking basically. It's union. Yoga means union of your thinking with nature's thinking, union of your potential with nature's potential.
Yes.
Because why I'm coming to that point is when Big Bang. Let's go back to million number of years. When Big Bang happened, what exactly happened? Big Bang happened.
Big Bang, the star.
There was an explosion.
Yes.
So what exactly was the Big Bang? It was the vibratory frequency which was produced.
Right.
And from that Big Bang, we all evolved.
Right.
Over a period of time.
Yes.
When we give a credit to Lord Krishna saying that it is a Krishna river, black hole, singularity, event horizon and all those stuff, that Stephen talking about time period theory and all those things, which is the truth.
Yes.
There is no false in that. Our Granth and the Sahityas and the Ramayana and Mahabharata is a clear testimony to all these things. It is a Ityasa, pure Ityasa. Many people in the world may say that it is a false.
Yes.
Or it is just a epic.
That's why it has a specific word in Sanskrit, right? Itihas.
Yeah, thus it has happened.
Thus it has happened, yes.
So that is why when we focus on the basic knowledge of our Granthas, our Granth Sahityas, because all our Shastras, they are darshanas basically. They are sort of darshana shastra. Darshana means you show a way, you show a path, you guide.
Yes.
So that's why it is darshana. So Indian philosophical context itself, though we have a different types of sects and this thing, we are one.
Yes.
Out of all the people put together, we are one.
Yes.
And when we are working towards a particular goal, isn't it that the purpose is the sole authority which we are working for?
Purpose is what is needed for each and every one of us.
Correct.
To drive their life.
Correct. And because of purpose, we take all other decisions. Moment the purpose is clear, there are only two organizations which are recognized in the world over from Indian perspective. One is Tata's. You read their purpose statement. You read Infosys purpose statement. We want to elevate communities where we work to grow and develop them. This is their purpose. It's not the purpose of profit, how many number of years and number of listing companies we have.
Correct.
Purpose is to elevate the communities we live for. Where we live, we want to elevate them. It may be technology, Infosys, as Narayan Murthy as an example. He has uplifted so many engineers to become entrepreneurs by themselves. Who are they otherwise? They are entrepreneurs by themselves because they do the production, they do the product ideation, they do the service orientation, and they deliver for Infosys today. Without they being the leaders, how Infosys could have grown to multi-billion-dollar empire? So everybody is a leader. So I like one example from Bob Chapman basically. He is focusing on the leadership where it is truly human leadership. This is the care for people. That span of care itself is more important than anything else. Because if you care, rest of the things will be automatically done. You need not do something special. You need not give them medical insurance. Those medical insurance and all these things are byproduct. All these things will be done. So that leader within yourself becomes a more perspective oriented, more purpose oriented, then all other leaders, all other decisions becomes okay. There is a great sentence which I always remember. Do one thing that all other things become unnecessary. So that one thing is a purpose that becomes a foresight for CXOLEAD as an organization. Our purpose is to give leadership as an activity, not as a purpose for profits. Purpose follows passion, passion follows profits. That's what we are looking at.
I mean, again, the common verse from Bhagavad Gita, Karmanyavadikarastu.
Correct, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, there are immense number of learning which says that, and what you rightly said is purpose. So, one way for me to look at that shloka is focus on your karma, focus on your work, focus on your purpose. Don't focus, as you rightly said, wealth, then wealth, money, evolving or giving back to the society or making a lot of money, everything. These are byproducts.
Correct.
Now, one question that I see is you read a lot on the Shastras. Kautilya's Arthashastra is one volume, and we are lucky enough because our ancestors just started writing this 2000 years back. Because we know society is, our religion, what we can hear is more than 5,000, 10,000 years old now.
Correct.
before 2000, majorly the the knowledge was transferred through Shrutva, by listening.
Yeah.
We had Guru Paramparas.
Correct.
It was not in written culture.
Correct.
We are lucky enough that there are things that are written
Correct.
where we can read. You gave example of the Arthashastra. Then what are other shastras that you refer which are greatly helping you in terms of a leader understanding? Because when you say you have to take care, what do you mean by taking care? Taking care of yourself, taking care of others also. And which is the shastra? Because Arthashastra is very huge. I mean, it has complete perspective if you see.
Yeah.
But when to start at a layman level like me, wherein I am just doing a startup, I have 5 or 10 people, where should I start?
There are two things here. I will break down your question in two parts. Let me understand.
I mean, that was a very big question.
No, that's absolutely fine. I will answer that both the parts. First part of the question is, let's look at how it should be. And you asked about startups, what cue a startup should take. That's the part 2 of the question. Part 1 is, as a leader, first of all, who you are, understanding and where you are coming from becomes a very important aspect for any leader. Without understanding that, you build a lot of within yourself, which is a dosha, right? So why then you cannot show empathy to people,
Right.
So because you want to become a better leader, Kautilya Arthashastra suggests the training from a Raja Guru. So if you see in Mahabharata also, Kauravas also had a Raja Guru and Pandavas also had the same Raja Guru, Dronacharya. Right? Both gave them Dhanurvidya also and Shastra Vidya and Shastra Vidya, both.
Right.
But apart from that, there is something called as molecular level transformation, which a guru can do. An enlightened guru can only do. That's why all the state kingdoms in India had something called a Raj Rishi.
Yes.
Why Raj Rishi is required? Because he is enlightened to the extent that you can molecularly transform a person just by looking at it. That's called part of Siddhis. Ashta Siddhi, Nava Nidhi Ke Data. That's how we say to Lord Hanuman. Right? So all these things becomes very, very important. So training is the major part, which is in Arthashastra, which is coming again from Mahabharata, which is coming again from Ramayana.
Yes.
You say Lord Rama, he is Lord as a avatara, he also had a guru, Rishi Vasishta. Rishi Vasishta, when he was training, he was not training only him in Dhanurvidya. He was also training him in inner wealth also, which is amply present with him. What mistake we do normally is, what we see is, we get attached to a particular thing.
Yes.
And then moment we get attached, we say that this is mine. How can it go from me?
Yeah.
For example, you can see that from most of the current state anarchies which are happening. This is my kurchi. This is this thing.
Yes.
So moment you get attached to a position, to get attached to a thing, you cannot leave it. For me, as a CXOLEAD founder, my aim is to get as much away from the kurchi. I want my leaders to take position. I want people to grow this company. We have a team of around about 12 people which are working across the world today. We are having offices in Dubai, we are having offices in Australia, and we are doing fantastically well in those continents as well. So why I am looking at this perspective? The perspective here is, as a leader, train yourself first. Then you will not falter on shadripus which are there. You will go away from that. Right? That is one thing. So you are taking care of your inner health. What is inner health? There is a lot of working on the chakras which are required. There is a lot of working on meditation. You should have control on your indriya. You should control on your desires.
Yes.
Right? So dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha is not only just purushartha. Dharma is the rule of law. We say that judiciary is rule of law. How many follow rule of law? Nobody follows. That's why there is anarchy. See, it is called as in Vishwacharya, when he was lying on the Shayya, he gave a lot of impetus to leadership dynamics to Lord Raja Yudhishthira. He says first sloka in Bhishmacharya's Bhishmaniti is, he says to Lord Krishna, he asks whom I should follow or emulate as a leader. So that time Bhishmacharya tells Yudhishthira that you should follow Lord Krishna as a leader. Because he is the one who is giving entire leadership activity to everybody, and he is the one who is the authority on leadership level. Now, what comes as a leader? There is a shloka which clearly says, I will recite it at the end because it's a very large shloka. It's a very important one as well. But the question here is, when you are thinking of a particular leadership activity which is within yourself, which is within your ahankara, which is within your attachment, where Krishna tells Arjuna, one who is completely leaving the bow and arrow and say that no, I don't want to fight. What he was seeing that emotional appeal. He was having a problem with his emotions. So no control over emotions. If you don't have a control over emotions, how you can be a better leader? We can see many fiascos in corporates. Why? Because there is no empathy. People don't leave organizations.
People live
bad mannerisms leaders. So that's where your leadership perspective comes into picture. I'm telling you in gist. Now question comes is, what as a startup or as a entrepreneur, what you should look into his team building. So in team building, Saptanga model says you should plan it in such a way that there are 7 steps. One is Swami Amatya Janapada, Durga Kosha Danda Mitra Iti Prakrutyaha. This is what Chanakya says. What it entails. Swami means the leader of the organization. Amatya means your core team. Okay, Swami Amatya Janapada is your target audience. Okay, Swami Amatya Janapada. Durga means your fortress. Where are you based? Which markets are you covering? Where is your HQ based? Where is your fortress? Durga. Kosh means your treasury, finance. How much finance we have? How you can fight? Because each state, each business is basically functioning on the finance as a core. Treasury. Kosha. Danda means your foot soldiers, army, your team, which is working, basically executors. And Mitra, your advisors. Because advisors are leaders which are required at 2 points of time. One is when you have ample of wealth to invest, where to invest, how to invest, and when you don't have any wealth, to create wealth. So those advisors, those leaders are falling into the category called of, like ours, of CXOLEAD. That's where startup should look into 32 qualities while recruiting a worker. There are 32 qualities, whether he is having a vidya, particular skills. There is something called as pradnya,
the aptitude or
the creativity or intelligence, right? So all these things like this, there are 32 qualities. If you need, I have it. I will tell you what are those 32 qualities.
I mean, just because when we have just started, I'm just trying to write my notes over here. I guess we'll need a episode 2 for all the detailed things.
Absolutely. We will do that once again.
Because this gets into great detail, and this is something we had a guest in our previous episode, Mr. Kishore Shah.
Yeah.
And you might be knowing.
Yeah, I know.
And he also does something similar with the organization. And he gave an example that first you have to work with your HR, the recruitment, and he does something called as talent analytics. So talent analytics is something which they do a research-based questionnaire and all the reasoning behind hiring a person. And we always say as Indians, or not as Indians, but Westerners say that we have invented something or we have discovered something. But we have not invented anything, we have not discovered anything, we are just reinventing it or we are just rediscovering it.
I will say that in one word, researching it.
Because this is already existing.
Absolutely.
Because
you are delving deep into it.
Yes. And now we are trying to search it all around the world, but this is what we have with ourselves.
Absolutely.
My next question is, can you share a case study or an example where one of your flexible CXOs, why I'm saying flexible is because I have seen as a business head that I have to be a flexible person as a sales guy, as an execution guy. Might be the same case with the CXOs also.
Correct.
Because that X can change and waver around in any organization.
Absolutely true. Agreed.
So flexible CXO significantly transfers the company growth.
Yeah, absolutely. This is something which we have tried and tested, and it has worked very well for us and for many organizations. We have onboarded around about 25 to 26 organizations with us. We are working on one-to-one with 27 to 28 leaders whom we are training month on month. It's a 1 year long program basically for a particular leader, depending upon his strength, what is needed, what is not needed. A lot of research goes into that. Our team is more on the cognitive behavior, skills required, where we need to sharpen him, strategic understanding, where we need these skills and all those things. It goes into a particular program. It's a curated, customized program for a particular leader. But when you say a CXO, first of all, a CXO is more agile, more integrated. And that too, a flexible CXO is more agile, more integrated, more accountable, more flexible. Why I'm saying this? Because a person, when he's working with the organization, he goes into a particular format. Moment if Prasad is my founder and chairman, सबको अच्छा लगता है ना वही. So I get into one position. मेरे को तो बाहर नहीं निकलेगा ना. ठीक है, चलेगा. So I get into a one environment that yes, this is my playing field. मैं उसको इतना ही बता दूंगा तो वो इतना करेगा. फ्लेक्सिबल सीईओ के पास ये आउटपुट देने के लिए ये क्वेश्चन ही नहीं है, उसको आउटपुट देना ही है. So he himself understands himself, who he is. He understands the other person, how he is, what is required as a purpose, and he delivers. That is the only requirement as a CXO or as a leader. That's what we have transformed. Where there was a challenge in terms of sales process or automation for a manufacturing company, there was a challenge for sales growth, there was a challenge for turnover. So all three things have been adjusted because we changed the cycle of process flow, systems in management for their manufacturing processes. There was no SOP. We set the SOP as per how the leader should function. Also SOPs for how say flexible CXOs should function, and we integrate flexible CXOs with their executive teams. So that it becomes agile, because organization is not only with one particular department. मैं यही करूँगा, आपका organization बाकी का कुछ भी करे, मुझे कुछ लेना देना नहीं है.
And many of the organization do not have that bandwidth also. Yeah,
so to give that bandwidth, we are here. So many of the organizations, when they speak to me first, they ask कि ये model कैसा चलेगा सर. तो मैं जब समझाता हूँ उनको, तब पता चलता है कि yes, it will work in this fashion. You first of all forget about our services, forget about us. First of all, you tell us about yourself.
Yeah.
That is more important to us. Only then we understand to the core from where you have started and where you have reached. What is the gap analysis? Then we can suggest you something better. Then we can give you a roadmap, road path, where you want to be in 5 years down the line, where you want to be 10 years down the line, whether you want to scale to a company and become a IPO level company on main boards, or something you want to do something for a nation as a whole. If it is a service orientation organization, you want to build a product. There are only two types of organizations across the world. Either you are a product organization or a service organization.
Correct.
Right? So most of the organizations has the motto. So that motto needs to be understood from a purpose perspective, not from the motto from a credit or a perspective of profits, which has been understood over a period of time, because we are more of a capitalist mindset.
Capitalist mindset. I mean, we as Indians have trying. I mean, we are with globalization, with people moving in.
And there is, Prasad, I'm just interrupting. There is one more funny thing which is happening in Indian INC also. There is something called a jugaad.
Jugaad.
So that jugaad as a frugal innovation, which has been seen on a perspective of innovation as a perspective, that jugaad has gone into something else, where leadership is torn apart completely. Where we don't understand as a leader and we do something which is only for profits. इसको अच्छा लगता है ना, वही करके देने का.
So I was telling you about the chairman whom I work with, and I was I was acting dynamic in a way, and I was very restrained. And one day, suddenly, I told him, this is not going this way, that way, this way, that way. So he gave me a very straightforward answer. I need something which is sustainable, which is measurable, and which has a scalable thought process. This is wherein I guess purpose can be framed in,
Absolutely.
and this is where we have to align. And one thing is we need to understand that in this world nothing is built in a single day.
Actually, since you are saying the purpose can be fit, I'll just add one line to it before you ask me a next question. There is something called as why of everything. Moment you have a why of everything and what if these two are answered, I think so your purpose gets served in all things what you do.
Exactly.
So that's what I was sharing with my team members today. So if we can do these two things together, what if and why, I think so all our product energies, all our organizations, all our self as an entrepreneur, our services offerings will get exploded in a number of ways.
Right.
Our growth will be multitask, but we don't have a focus. We are distracted. This is more of a distracted economy than the focused economy.
And then I was researching back. I read a very short book called as Dopamine Effect.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's a very short book. I realized that dopamine is being hit regularly by scrolling, by watching videos, by seeing messages. Nowadays, I see that LinkedIn has become a Facebook for the professional
people. Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So these are the shots of dopamine what we are seeing. The right dopamine to focus. What I see again when you say Saptanga, 7 angas. One of the anga is, and to develop all those Saptangas, you need to do yoga, and basically yoga says that you have to meditate a lot. And I feel meditation is something which is missing very badly. Now, when I say meditation also, you will be the right person to say meditation, where people all across will say that there are thousands of things which they try to do. The simplest form what I am trying to do is focus on your breath.
Correct.
And if someone is able to focus, I don't remember the name of the gentleman who used to run a multi-billionaire business in 1900s in USA. And you know how USA's economy is there and how the government acts over there. So one fine day the government got little screwed up with this businessman, and they went to him and they said, how are you able to build so humongous business and such easily? The only answer he gave to them is, I can focus on one question for 5 minutes. I'll challenge you, if you can focus it for 1 minute also, you have won it.
Correct.
I mean, focus meditation.
Correct.
Focus on your breath, build up, that is the hardest stuff.
But there is one more thing. See, meditation on what is also a question.
Yeah.
The question for leaders today is, मैंने ये program किया, मैंने advanced meditation का program किया. This is what I heard.
Yeah, this is what I am telling you, right?
This is what I have understood.
Hundreds of way of doing meditation.
Correct. There is a chakra meditation, there is a deep level meditation. There are only 4 states for us. There is awakened state, there is a middle level state where we are neither awake nor sleepy. There is a sleepy state and a complete dreamy state. That is called a state of Turiya. That Turiya state was achieved by Swami Vivekananda with grace of his guru, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, because I am devoted to Ramakrishna Math and Mission. So that's why I have to pay obeisance to my guru as well. So the question here is, if Swami Vivekananda explained the same thing when he visited Chicago Parliament of Religions and he gave message to the world that India is the mother of all religions. I am not talking about religion. He gave a beautiful answer during his Chicago address that universal brotherhood is something which is required. Let's forget the religion. Brotherhood is something which will grow into millions and billions. If we 140 crore Indians just practice one thing, just to pass on one love. We say we are the center to the world, or center to the world economy, which was, which will be, and which will be retained by India in the future course of action, because we have already celebrated 75 years and 100 years are coming. By 100 years, definitely Bharat will become Vishwa Guru. That will be definitely there. But question is, how to achieve that? Modi, Honorable Prime Minister Modi has laid a framework for that. Can we contribute?
Yes.
Can we collaborate?
Yes.
Can we suggest something to people?
Yes.
Can we pass on just one energy of love? That one energy of love can create miracles in life of people. One energy from chairman or a founder can create miracles in the organization. Just understand span of care, that you care for somebody. If the employee understands that you care for me, he will give out his heart out to your company. That's the strength which you have. But we don't focus. We focus only on profits.
Profits. At the end of the day, I need to pay bills. I need to make profits.
So for me, even without asking, I want to reiterate here, is because I want to set a tone basically for future also and future upcoming entrepreneurs also. My vision for my company is 100 crores. Moment I achieve 100 crores net turnover for Sankalp and Chandelkar as a company, it is end of taking money from that company. Let company flourish. Here I am putting it point blank because that's the aim. That's what I need. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't need profits throughout. I need to have some barrier somewhere. Because those barriers, if they are not there, then it can function. Why Tata's function so fluently? Their trust. There is no profit margin there. There is nothing which is happening from that scale.
Yeah.
Every rupee earned, 60% goes to charity, 40% goes to the trust.
Yeah. And still they are making enormous money.
And finally contributing to nation buildings. Not only India, across the world.
And another challenge is they are doing it regularly for 5th, 6th, 7th generation.
Absolutely.
This is what should inspire. I mean, what we say as a legacy should not be money.
Absolutely correct.
Legacy is not about money. This is what I really call it as a legacy.
Correct.
And I'm little touched. I'm little getting goosebumps over here because I started Parallel Perspectives for two reasons. One is I have my own targets. I want to flourish with some amount of savings till my 45.
Correct.
And those savings are only needed to have a healthy life for me, my wife, for kids' education. That's it. Because I know my kids are going to do good. Because I'm going to set up a good path for them.
Correct.
The rest is all upon their senses and their thought process.
Absolutely.
As a parent, you cannot fulfill them till their death.
Absolutely. And that's
Because
good,
you
we should
die.
stop somewhere.
Exactly. So, this is what is needed in society a lot. Because you see in politicians, you see in entrepreneurs, you see a lot of these unicorns and the startup hooters. They are bagging 100 and 200 CR. They have this psychology of, I'll build up a unicorn, or I'll build up an IPO, I'll sell it off, I'll take up our money, and then the thing is done.
No, that is still fine. I'm saying that do it. But the purpose behind this is lacking.
Purpose is to serve the country, to serve the humanity, or to serve the people.
Correct.
Yes.
So that's what we need to have a course correction.
Mm.
It's not wrong to become a unicorn or a decagon. Please become. Create thousands of more unicorns. Fine. But where are we heading? Are we heading for money? Are we heading for capitalism? Can you tell me, when you said dopamine, I had a question in my mind. Can you create dopamine in lab?
I don't think so.
So if tomorrow happiness is not given, love is not shared, and the cosmic intelligence which automatically creates your dopamine for you by just sharing the love between two individuals, irrespective of what kind of love it is, right? This entire cosmos is holding on the energy of love. If one of the elements, one of the grahas says that I don't want to function, entire universe will collapse.
Yes.
The same energy, same love can be shared, and dopamine can be produced free of cost with cosmic intelligence. Why are we hiring ourselves into a market of just profits and profits and profits? Let's go there, let's go out, become good leaders, become good human beings. Serve the organizations in a proper way, serve the country in a proper way, serve yourself first in a proper way.
Because this also tells me, so, we were at the dopamine and giving back it to the society. Somewhere down the line, can you really transfer it? We are getting off from that CXO thing. The CXO thing in terms of, the professional aspect, because this is completely, but we are allowed because this is parallel perspectives. You said about love. How do you transfer it?
I think so. We are not getting away from it. The primary motive of CXOLEAD is training leaders to do that. Moment you have this, organizations will become prosperous. Money will come, it's a byproduct. It has to come. Moment you give, for example, your team is there. If I come and deliver a lecture to them, if I transfer a lot of energy, won't they get energized?
Yes, they do.
So that energy, what is building within our CXOs, which are already transformed from Tata's, having worked with 25 years of experience, 40 years of experience from across the corporate organizations, they do something called as, we only give them perspective. कि ये organizations को ऐसा चाहिए, इस तरह से करना है, we give work hand in hand with them, transform those organizations. So I think so we are not going away from it. It is a part of it which is not understood from this perspective.
Yeah, because even I am being trained in 17 years working in the corporate, then building your own business, you tend to forget and you tend to do it in a similar way. I'll tell you, my experience started in a similar way, which 90% of the times I'll say with all the entrepreneurs, people who are leaving the company, joining second companies, or who are not doing very good in their life is 90% of the time it is with the bad mannerism from the managers, colleagues or immediate bosses. My journey also started in a similar way. One of my mentor during the pandemic, he started with the soul. I mean, knowing yourself, with your discipline, with everything. And then I came to my purpose. During that purpose, or during that time period, I understood that businesses which focus on services, businesses which really love to do their services, are the ones who are doing very good in their businesses.
Today, Indian economy is having 64% of the economic revenue comes from services in Indian economy. Why so? Since you said love is something which we need, I'll give an example of Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines is completely based on the perspective of love. Just transfer love, your work is getting done.
Similarly, I mean, if you are not getting transferred with love, with empathy in your workplace,
correct,
will you really transfer it to the customer?
Exactly, absolutely, Prasad. That's where I come to this perspective of when you say empathy, when you say emotional intelligence, all these things becomes part of that love. Your emotions love is an emotion.
Right.
So my guru always says, when you are just like how you switch off a cell phone and switch it on, can you switch off sometimes?
That's very. It has become very hard.
Because we are wired that way.
Right.
Hardwired that way.
And
because to understand the nature of humans and nature of nature is as important as understanding profits and
because I'll tell you, whenever I have tried to switch off myself, be it a family member or be it a social member or be it a colleague at the workplace, they'll find it odd or they'll find it weak.
That's why we stop. But you can do it in another way also.
You will term that person as weak. If he seems to say that, I need to stop, just give me a break and let's start it again.
Can you do it without showing them?
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the way. See, the way in which I do personally, because your question and my question is same. I am living in the same world as yours. This is Kali Yuga. You have to work for yourself. Nobody will come and give the share of your pie at your home, sitting at home idle, right? So everybody is doing the same work. Even the gods who have taken as avatars, they are doing the same work.
Yes.
The question here is, when we say love is important, when we say empathy is important, when we say emotional intelligence is important, your emotions should have a control.
Yes.
Can you understand the human biology of functioning? Can you understand the nature of humans? Nature of nature? And first principle is, my guru always tells me, even if you love somebody, and if you shower them, they will misuse that love.
Yeah.
You should accept it. Because it's nature of humans.
Acceptance is what, many years back I was reading a book by Sri Ravi Shankar. Sri.
He's one of the finest spiritual seekers.
Yes. So,
Master.
See, this jnana or this knowledge with all the gurus is already there. The toughest part is acceptance. Accepting where you are, accepting what other is, accepting for the fact that, okay, he'll misuse it. We are not accepting, and those are the insecurities that we are carrying.
Absolutely correct. I'll give you one example.
Mm.
I always discuss with my wife because my wife is into more of analytics.
Mm.
So she analyzes the things very fast.
Mm.
So I always discuss it with her is what we need in next 50 years or 20 years, how much money we'll need.
Mm.
Do we have a question? Do we have a restriction on that? She says that what you have decided is fine. I am fine with that. We should be happy. If we are happy now, I think so the output will be happy.
Mm.
We as a country with bombarded with lot of negative news. That's a distraction. That's why we are suffering like this.
Yes. Yes.
If we can work on each one of us,
I'll
it's
tell
our
you
duty.
that is the bad dopamine that is working around.
Absolutely. That's where our focus is when we go to corporates and when we give training sessions on team bonding activities or rating a particular team for a particular task, basically. We plan to do activities in this level where dopamine is exchanged.
Mm.
You understand others. Understand to the extent that this is part of the whole, you cannot change. Everybody wants control of everything.
Mm. Everyone wants, and the me part is always there.
Absolutely.
The-
Mera hai, that is fine, but everybody wants control of others also.
Yes.
He has to act the way in which I am thinking, which is wrong. He is other person, so he has his own emotions. Likewise, my guru always says you should not look at the knife which is holding the hand which is holding the knife, but it is the knife which makes it work. You should understand that level of philosophy. Then only you can understand that sharing love is as easy as it is. Because all of us, he always says to me, I am nothing that you are not. He always says, I am nothing that you are not. I am also the same material that you are made of all 5 elements, just converted into various permutations and combinations.
And this is the challenge. I mean, at professional level also. And I'll give you 2 examples. One is with the yoga, with any yogi or with any tantra, mantra, upasaka. The biggest challenge is control on ahankara in their city. And I'll give you a second example, a layman example. In the final match, we were discussing Raj. In the final match, Virat Kohli gave a very good statement that he did not perform well for the first few matches. In the final match, he really performed very well. And it contributed a lot towards the victory.
Yeah.
He gave the statement that in my head only went one thing: give away your thoughts. I've been bullying a lot, thinking that मेरे को सब आता है. I am a god of this cricket.
Correct.
Somewhere his lines were this: I gave away that kara, and then I only focused on the work. I kept it towards the God, saying that okay, I need to, just play around.
Means basically, to notice one particular aspect of surrender.
Surrender.
He says that I am not doer, you are the doer.
You are the doer.
If you have seen, he always keeps the photograph on his wallpaper for mobile phone of Nim Karoli Baba. Right? Because Nim Karoli Baba is a direct avatar of Hanuman. Right?
Yes.
So he always says Rama. He says Ram Rama. Why Ram Rama? There is a scientific reason for that saying Ram Rama. मोहीम महाराष्ट्र राम पावणं असं म्हणतात. का तर बेसिकली त्याचा उच्चारच असा आहे तर रा हा हे फायरचा शब्द आहे. म हा अहंकाराचा आहे. तो जो जाळून जेव्हा टाकतो तो राम आहे. आपण म्हणतो ना आत्मा राम, काया हा कृष्ण आहे तर आत्मा राम आहे. तर ते आत्मा राम हा जेव्हा एक होईल म्हणजे जीवा आणि शिवाची भेट होते तेव्हा आपण अद्वैत वृत्तीत जातो. ती वृत्ती आपल्याला येऊ शकते का? आपण ते करू शकतो का? आपण भगवंतच आहोत हे आपण विसरलो आहोत. तर ते भगवंत जाणून घेण्याचा कल जो आहे म्हणजेच लिडरशिप. That is nature's leadership. That is also called as laissez-faire affair leadership. नेचरची लीडरशिप जी आहे ती आपण जर समजली किंवा इफ यू अंडरस्टँड दॅट इन अ कोर कंटेक्स्ट की हे जे घडतंय माझ्या समोर ते एका होल कंट्रीब्युशन आणि कॉस्मिक सर्कलचा भाग आहे हे जर आपण अंडरस्टँड होऊ शकलो तर भारत नाही पूर्ण जगात आज जी केओस आहे किंवा त्रास होते लोकांना तो खूप प्रकारे मिटून जाईल. तो असा निघून जाईल. कोर्टचे मामले पण जे पेंडिंग पडत आहेत ना ते पण निघून जाईल. इट इज बेसिकली ऑल बिकॉज ऑफ ईगोज.
Because of
मैं आपको दिखा देता हूँ. ओनली वन वर्ड I hope I am trying to answer your question.
No. I mean, I'm so, I mean, again off the track. My Ishtadev is Ram. I worship a lot Hanuman and Ram. And then I'm going through this phase a lot. I am trying to be over ambitious. I'm trying to, build something, So there are challenges. Scaling up from 0 to 1 CR may not be a challenge. Scaling from 1 CR to 5 CR is achievable.
Okay.
Now I'm going through a phase wherein scaling from 5 CR to 25 and 100 is a huge challenge. And every day I have to fight with myself on the same thing.
See, there is a nice understanding which comes from my guru always I take, because my guru is also, his name is Dr. Sri Ram Gajula. So he's from Hyderabad, right, presently in USA. He keeps traveling, he understands things because he is known as the Ajnata Avtara of Lord Rama.
Okay.
But he doesn't show that he is Avtara. If you ask him, go and ask him, anytime meet him and go and ask him, sir, are you Avtara? He said, I don't know, what are you talking about? But many people have told me, many people, experiences have told me. You can understand if I am sitting with you today, it is because of Lila. It is not, none of fun, none. I don't know anything. I didn't know that you are following Rama. He knows much better than me.
So the thing is that from last 1 year, the upasanas that I started with the upasana, you must have seen my DP.
Yeah, I know.
So I started with the upasana of Shiva.
Very
Suddenly from that upasana I realized I need to get connected with my guru.
Absolutely.
Unless until your guru finds you or his willingness is there, you will not be able to connect him.
Correct.
Second thing happened is, again, one of my cousin's friend, he's Siddha Purush, he's Siddha.
Very nice.
He has great insight. So he suggested me, Prasad, whatever you are going through life, I mean, we went through severe issues with health, again with finances, again I'm scaling up a business, so there are a lot of customers and everything, you know it. And with that I came to know that he told me that, Prasad, you need to stop. Please start your worshipping with Lord Hanumana and your Ishtadeva is Rama. So you start reciting this also. Knowing unknowingly, before even he told me, for 3 months I was already reciting it.
Very good.
Raj, you must have seen me singing a lot Sri Ram Chandragupta Bhajana. So that does not come in, I mean that is not something that I am trying to do. It comes in. I have a daughter who sits with me. She's just 6-7 months old, and she'll be quiet and calm, and she loves to hear Sri Ram Chandragupta Bhajana.
Super.
So this is something which, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps again because, as you rightly said, if at all Guruji is a Agyata Avtara, somewhere it is a Leela that we have got connected, and I am getting this knowledge. I mean, coming back to CXOLEAD, what advantage do you see with a contractual CXO and against a full-time CEO, CEO?
See, there are two main advantages here. One thing is, a CXO in a particular organization, a CEO or COO or a CFO becomes a silo. He works for himself, he works for his department, there is no agility within the organization. But when an outside perspective comes into picture, everybody becomes alert. बाहर का बंदा है बाबा, अपना बंदा नहीं है, लोग इसको पटा नहीं सकते. This is the question, right? So when the outside perspective comes, you have a fresh perspective. He infuses energy, he gives you energy, he makes you work. He's flexible enough to understand you, he's empathizing with you, he makes you understand the concepts he wants to do, but with the intention of organization's goal, not with his intentions, not with his perspective. Correct. That's where Sankalp CXOLEAD or the companies or the people who are coming together with us to work with, that's the motto. We are here to work for organization's goal rather than Sankalp's inhibitions onto them, pushing some concept onto them. We are not for that. We are here to your control. If not there, we will see to it that we frame one for you. If you don't have a purpose statement, we will make you say that, okay, why have you started this? We'll go deep into it and we'll frame a purpose statement. We'll frame a mission for you. We'll frame a vision for you. We'll make out a business plan as well as strategic plan for you. There are ways in which I have helped organizations when they were on the cusp of expansion mode, but they did not have a talent, but they did not have anything else, and everything was going in not going in the proper format. That's where the CXO comes into the picture. When you infuse your energy, give fresh perspective, the people who are thinking idly becomes also on a particular perspective, they becomes new completely. That's where when any client says, sir, tell us about yourself, we don't tell. We say that you tell us about yourself first, where we can help you. That's what we are telling about ourselves, right? I should tell कि sir मैं leadership coaching करता हूँ, strategic planning करता हूँ, ये करता हूँ, ते करता हूँ. I don't want to tell about myself because I am here to transform your organization.
But do you? I mean, I'll just stop you and give you a what do you say opposite paradox. I mean a paradox, because this is an activity which I do regularly. The things I have to do and things I don't have to do. And I regularly make the JDs of my colleagues also in a similar manner. Now, what I see is this is a shortfall of a system wherein a CEO or any other the CXO, I'll say, of a company diverges or dilutes his scope of work. Wherever this has happened, CXO will come. I guess this happens a lot.
Yeah, it happens a lot. But see, there is again a perspective problem here. Since you are sitting here for a parallel perspective, I will also align you the same. Because see, one thing is CXO is here to give you not only perspective, he is here to hold you hand in glove, walk with you and take you onto the path where you want to be. Where you have stagnated. Thinking means basically what stagnation? Thinking stagnation.
Right.
अगर थिंकिंग का स्टेग्नेशन ओपन हो जाए एक बार, बात दिख जाए, तो उसको भी मजा आता है उसके साथ काम करने का. That's what we do. That's what our work is. Instead of making him stagnate onto a 5-year term where he has achieved 10 crore revenue and he wants to scale up to a 50 crore revenue, why he can't? He can. But he is not having, he don't know what is the pathway to choose, how to go about it, whether that's a product organization or service organization. All these things becomes a part and parcel of how you devolve. When you say that particular CXO gives JDs, it is a duty of a CXO to get that work done in a loving way. For example, if Raj is absent today and if I am not here to present, right, and he is absent, what I should do? That means work should stop?
No, the work will continue.
Exactly. The way in which if he is not there, somebody else should take it over.
Correct.
Right? And do it efficiently in the same way he is doing.
Correct.
That is love.
That is love.
Without expecting that I will get elevated to his position. Without expecting that Prasad will give me some credits. Without expecting that Prasad will honor me for this. Without expecting any monetary assistance which will be given to me. This is what happens in a normal employee, which doesn't happen with the outside CXO. Expectation from the company is higher inside CXO, from outside CXO because he is on his toes because he has to deliver. If he doesn't deliver, he will not get paid. Simple as that. That is the perspective.
So, this I'll just end it with 2 questions because we are at the close of the session.
Sure.
First question is, when I say, I give you an example also. How do you measure the success of the contractual CXO or a CXO? The second question would be, what are your future projects or the current projects that you are excited to give us an insight, if you are willing?
Yeah, absolutely. First thing is, any organizations, when we go for CXO recruitment or giving a CXO or giving a plan or a strategic plan, it's not that always they need a outside CXO. The question is, again I'm framing, CXOLEAD is not the organization only to provide a CXO. CXOLEAD is the organization of transformation of leadership perspective, transformation of your strategic thinking, transformation of your competitive assessment. When we understand any organization, we do a thorough assessment what that organization really needs. Then when the CEO is selected, as I told you, we look for 32 qualities as enlisted in Arthashastra. That's a primary perspective, whether it is that skills are there in presenting him, that creativity is there, whether he will culturally fit or not, whether he is flexible enough. Because each one is having uniqueness, each one is having his own thinking, each one is having his own whims and fancies to look at a particular perspective. Prasad is having his same different perspective, Raj is having a different perspective, my colleague is having a different perspective, my network members are having a different perspective. So we need to understand how it is giving you more perspective. That transformation perspective is what CXO does. The question here is, moment you are into a CXO role, you need to understand where are we going. First of all, there is a cultural connect which is happening. And I personally work in the initial months closely with organization and closely with CXO to merge themselves into that organization. Because otherwise what happens is, there may be clashes. Because it's human nature.
Yes.
Resistance may be there. Or because he's coming from a baggage or a completely perspective which is very high nature, and he has to adjust and calm down himself to a nature which is he is working with. Because founders are not of the same class. Sometimes they are having an extra knowledge, sometimes they may have a knowledge or they must have touched upon the topic. They are not wrong, they have built the organization to a certain level. So we need to respect them. We need to scale them because we need to grow them. It's not our growth, it's their growth.
And I completely line on this point because I come from capital equipments, marine engines, compressors, and then from therein I took up this challenge to scale up a business of aluminium. Architecture अभी कैसा है ना, we always think of glorifying our work.
Correct.
So from marine engines or compressors, I have come to a different way. The doors and windows that you are seeing over here, these are also done by a company.
Okay.
So this is into something very different.
Okay.
And the technology, the system. So this sector is completely what you can say is unorganized as of now in India, but it has a huge potential. Huge in terms of 25 million crores is what is the potential for India.
Wow.
You can see the real estate, right?
Super.
Real estate is growing by yearly 5%, 6%. And we are going to more 5 or 10 years of real estate growth. Similar to that, real estate is going to need doors and windows, and then it will also grow with that same rate.
Correct.
If you see any house, 30% of the openings or 40% of the openings are covered by them.
Super.
So you can understand the scale of it.
Correct.
So I went through the same. I had this in me wherein I came from marine, this, that, and then right from the shop floor design, sales, everything. So this is a biggest challenge.
Correct.
And you rightly said that this has to be addressed. At CXO, might be you are doing it in in an organized and structured way, but this is what really is needed. Now the second question that will come, and we'll wrap this up because I'm sure that audience will have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And then you can put all your questions. We'll definitely try and see. I am already planning to do few more episodes with Mr. Sankalp because I can see the immense knowledge that you have, and this is our main focus and agenda with Parallel Perspective is the information, the knowledge, and when we have gone discussing the perspective, that is what we are trying to build with our company. Only the last question is, what are the projects? What are the projects which you feel are very exciting for you?
Yeah. Let me first of all offer all the viewers a Parallel Perspective. Thanks to Prasad for inviting me here. Whatever he is doing is a fantastic work because it's one of the finest thing to record something which is for the posterity.
Yeah.
Second thing is his beautiful name Prasad. So it's finally we eat at the end of Aarti, right?
Yes.
So it's a beautiful name. So we have to do the grahana after we end our sessions or after we end our entire worship sessions.
Yes.
So it's a beautiful name, sir. God bless you infinitely for that. Secondly, whatever knowledge I have is not mine.
Right.
It is a cosmic knowledge,
Yes.
which is flowing only through my mouth. I'm just an instrument in the divine hand
Yes.
of my Guru. Thanks to him that he has put me in this area where I can share knowledge,
Yes.
and not only share knowledge, share wisdom.
Wisdom.
That is more important for a leader
Exactly.
rather than knowledge, because knowledge converted into wisdom is with experience, and that experience comes from others' experiences and experiences of yourself.
Right.
So these two experiences, these two perspectives, taking you together. What are our future projects? We are working on a project which is basically for MSME, where we are targeting companies which are 100 crores and above, where we will work totally on the leadership development
Okay.
and succession planning. Because that is where a company which is there for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years have come to a cusp that founders have become aged and they are in a second generation to hand it over. How we can scale it for them? How we can transform them? That's what we are looking at. We want to contribute to others' success rather than our success. Our success is in the hands of their success. So that's what I wanted to say. I think so I have answered your question in 1 or 2 lines.
Yes.
And I think so since the paucity of time, since we have 1 hour and you are concising it, we may do many episodes, but for this, let us stop it here.
The idea is not to, see the discussions and the perspectives and the wisdom that we are sharing over here is very precise.
Precise, absolutely correct.
And sending it across without structure or without a base would not be helpful.
Absolutely correct.
That's why I'm saying that yes, we will have many more episodes, because I'll have to do a lot of, because whatever question I frame, the research made for that.
Okay.
But during our conversation, I found out that there's a lot more to be discussed with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I'll frame it again.
Sure, sir.
And we'll have many more episodes with Mr. Sankalp. I'm sure you guys will also have a lot of questions. I thank you again for giving this lovely episode and knowledge with us.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for the audience also.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.